I spent last week in Fiordland on a hunting trip and ran into a shark that wanted a hug and maybe a taste of my foot. And I thought that was reasonably scary, and I was sweating inside my wetsuit. But when I realised that this was the most appropriate first slide, that made me sweat as well. So, I'm at the Dairy Industry Conference with Go Vegan as the first slide. Let's see where that leads us, at least. So, good morning. My name's Rob Kidd. I'm the Group Operations Manager for Duncan, New Zealand. I am just over half the age of the average New Zealand farmer, and if you wind that back, it makes me a millennial. So, at Duncan, New Zealand, our mission statement and what we get out of bed every day to do is to create a sustainable future for New Zealand venison. You've got the beautiful black Duncan book in your conference pack. So I'll leave it to you to take some time and read that later on. I'm not actually going to talk to you about us today. I'm going to talk to you about a trend that's been touched on over the last few days and one that we need to be aware of. Today, more than ever before, people around the world are turning to different diets. They're turning to pescatarian, vegetarian, flexitarian or vegan because they believe that eating meat or dairy products is harming the planet. Just to refresh you on those terms quickly and pretty simple, pescatarians won't eat meat but will eat seafood, vegetarians won't eat meat or seafood, and flexitarians are best described as happy to have meat-free Monday but then also happy to tuck into a T-bone on Tuesday. Then we have vegans. What's a vegan? A vegan is a person who excludes all forms of animals for food, clothing or other purpose, promoting animal-free alternatives for the benefits of humans, animals and the environment. Doesn't sound so good for our primary industry, does it? So why should we care? Well, today's millennials will be tomorrow's high net worth consumers that we are going to be relying on to buy our highly priced lamb, beef and venison. That's right, 2020, next year, 1/3 of the working population of the US will be millennials. Here's a little more. The number of vegan consumers in the US increased 600% in the last 3 years. They're now 6% of the US population. The number of vegans in the UK quadrupled in the last 4 years to 1 million, and retail food sales in Tesco's increased by 25%. And we all know that the global meat substitutes market is increasing and is predicted to be worth 5.2 billion by next year and growing at 8%. Now the big guys have got onto this as well. McDonald's have released vegan burgers in Sweden and Finland. There is vegan chains setting up across the US like Veggie Grill. Also in the US, we've got cow milk sales declining with an 11% drop next year. And some non-meat, non-edible parts of this trend that are also need our understanding. We've got world leather prices at an all-time low, yet we see Tesla removing animal-based leather as an option for their seats. Bentley are exploring alternatives to leather to cater for their high-wealth ethical consumers. Beauty brands are removing animal products from their formulations. And this one, I'm not going to dwell on it too long because I'll get in trouble, but condom makers are making vegan products. If you go into the search history of my work laptop, it's fireable. So, what are some ways that this trend's being dealt with? The German ag ministry has called for a ban on labelling plant-based protein as meat, saying you can't have a vegan sausage. While that's going on, the US Senate has introduced bills to stop non-dairy drinks being called milk. But, and maybe it's my millennial bent here, looks like head in the sand stuff to me. This is a brave new business world that I'm coming into, and I'm enthused to be part of it for the long term. But it is one in which consumers are going to continue to demand sustainable and ethical products. The plant-based revolution is here to stay. So what should we do about it? Rather than resist the inevitable, We should find ways to make our venison more appealing to the millennial generation, and we should establish our venison carbon footprint backed by independent scientific evaluation, as we're concerned at Duncan that the farmers are being asked to bear more than their fair share of the burden. We remain unconvinced that methane production alone should be the measure of our carbon footprint. Taxing our farmers without any opportunity to consider the landscape and mitigation provided by our natural livestock production systems seems at odds with where we need to go. So what's the industry doing? Well, we're carrying on. We're marketing what we have to create awareness and appreciation for all the good things that are part of our venison. Natural, free range, grass-fed, GMO-free, carbon neutral, venison. Organic foods are growing at twice the rate of conventional foods as well, and our production systems are pretty close to that. So maybe we could benefit there. What are Duncan doing? Oh, sorry about the old slide there, it's taken the title. However, what are Duncan doing? We're supporting DINs and challenging the way our industry is to be levied based on the climate science that is being applied to the dairy industry, an issue that needs all of our attention and understanding. With DIN's help, we're also continuing the work of growing demand creation. We're creating more demand to keep venison in its premium price position so that as an industry, if we do face more costs around biosecurity, carbon levies, NATE, etc., then those costs can be afforded. What else is Duncan doing? Well, continuing to invest in our markets to increase awareness and demand for New Zealand Savannah quality venison. We're introducing Savannah to more chefs through in-market activities. Last year we ran events in Boston, Washington and Houston targeted at chefs, and in each case their reaction was exactly that. This Savannah is unbelievable. When those chefs and others try the product, they're amazed and highly likely to start serving Savannah in their restaurants. But it takes time, effort and investment with our distributors and their chef customers. Inbound distributor trips are always beneficial, and once again last year we brought a large group of USA distributors to New Zealand who all returned to the US as ambassadors for New Zealand Savannah, and we've seen demand grow through their experience. New Zealand's free range and natural environment continues to be one of the key attributes that attract customers to this product. A quick recap, veganism is now mainstream. Millennials believe that they are saving the planet by not eating red meat, wearing leather or consuming dairy products. But they're also hungry for credible information that can be transferred on social media platforms. We need to make sure, all of us, that we allow consumers to feel good about the impact on themselves and the environment by consuming the healthiest red meat on the planet. It's our goal to see millennials become enthusiastic and passionate advocates for New Zealand venison, promoting the virtues of our venison for themselves, their friends and the planet. So with that in mind, the next time you need to help one of these vegan millennials see the larger picture, here's a few quick-fire facts which likely a lot of you already know but may not have seen compared like this. Venison has 3 times more protein than tofu. Venison has 1/4 of the fat of chicken. And venison has 8 times more iron than chicken. The most important challenge from a millennial's perspective and our view at Duncan, the most important challenge and the biggest opportunity we have in the next decade is to showcase how New Zealand venison is the healthiest and most planet-friendly meat that there is.